Hi, my name's Laurie Neary, and as many of you know, I suffered with the coronavirus. I was tested positive with COVID-19. I'm a school teacher, and in the beginning days of March, we were being very, very careful, high protocol of disinfecting our classrooms, every surface between every class, wearing gloves, being very, very careful. Not even then, we weren't getting very close to one another, but yet on March 5th, I started to feel a little bit bad. March 6th, I woke up and just felt a little achy and thought, under these high situation, the things that we were going through, I better call in. And I'm glad I did, because just like you've heard so many times before, it escalated very rapidly. By early afternoon, I was calling the nurse line at our clinic. And there really wasn't much they could tell me at that time, other than watch your temperature, just try and stay hydrated. And so that's what I did. And for the next several days, I continued to get worse. And thankfully, I had a wonderful caregiver in my husband. But by Monday, we both decided I really needed to go get tested because this was very bad. When we went to the clinic that day, I couldn't walk without his help. I was so weak. I was so tired. I was coughing so much. Everything in my body ached. Everything hurt. Think of it as if you think of every flu, every respiratory illness, sinus infection, bronchitis, anything you've had and times about 10, that's how my body felt. Just racked with everything you can imagine. I was tested that day, got home, and continued to have some really bad days. I know that many of you were praying, and I thank you for that. And I know that in there was a corner that I turned. I didn't get better immediately. It's actually taken weeks, as we're now here in the beginning of April, for me to feel kind of back to full strength. But I know you were praying, and I know God is faithful, and I thank you for that. Just a few days ago, Dan and I were watching 60 Minutes, and of course the lead story was all about COVID-19, and they had interviews with several people who had had it. And as I was listening to the story, I looked at Dan and said, I had all of that, and I had all of that way worse. And he said, I know you did. And I just said, man, God touched me. He pulled me back from the brink. I know he did, because watching that special and just seeing how it has manifested in other lives, I was literally probably hours from needing to go to the hospital and being cared for there when all of a sudden I turned. And I remember that night, it was the first time in almost a week when I slept more than just a few minutes. I slept, I think, 2 or 3 hours in a row. And just that restoration of sleep, and just for whatever reason, God's hand, of course, that's the reason, touching me, I was able to get a little bit of rest. And from that moment on, bit by bit, I started to get stronger. And I have to tell you that I appreciate all your prayers. I've never been that sick. And I know that God helped me, that he pulled me through. At the time, you're just kind of getting through it. But I do remember, and Dan remembers me, just laying for days. And all I could say was the name of Jesus, because I was very, very ill. And I know you prayed. And I thank you for that. And God is faithful. I don't know why I've come through so well. I'm grateful that I have. I'm grateful that in hindsight, we can look back and say, wow, this is when you probably should have gone to the hospital if it had gotten one step worse, but it didn't. And I'm better. Thank you. Thank you for your prayers. God is faithful. One of the things I don't understand is how and why he moves, but he does, and he's with us. And so if you know someone that's struggling, pray. Pray desperately for them. God hears our prayers. He will help us, and he will meet us where we need him. So thank you. Thank you for helping me get to the other side with your prayers, with your support, with your love, care, and concern. Thank you.